Welcome to another week of the Force with Friends podcast. As you've probably noticed by the lack of beard, Kevin is not here today. So we have our very first guest, which is Andrea with the Padawan Chronicles YouTube and Instagram channel. So how are you doing today?
Doing good. Happy to be off of work.
Yes, for sure. Well, thanks for hopping on. I really appreciate it, especially on such
Yeah.
short notice.
Yeah, no, it sounded like fun, so I'm excited for the game.
Yeah, it should be good. This should be a good time. Usually it spurs a lot of good discussion in the comments once this goes out as well. So
Is discussion
today,
code for arguing?
well, I mean, some people get really mad at these rankings.
I
Like,
know, it's crazy.
they'll call you stupid and stuff like that.
You don't know anything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
God forbid anyone have a different opinion. But we're ranking 50 Star Wars characters. You probably saw the title by now, but 50 Star Wars characters. This is just a random list. Like, I didn't pick them, but it appears to be most of the big ones. But before we hop into that, Andrea, where can everyone find you and tell us about your channel a little bit?
Sure, yeah, so pretty straightforward. The Padawan Chronicles on YouTube. I think my official YouTube handle is at Padawan Chronicles. Yeah, I think I'm at 161 videos as of today.
Wow.
Most of those are live streams. I never
Yeah.
thought I'd be getting into the live stream game because I'm actually like not super like extroverted or like social, but I just got really into live streaming because I really like the input from the live chat and I call it a party. That's why whenever I open a video or a live stream, I always say, "Hey, people, welcome to the party," because that's what it feels like to me, especially as someone who works from home full time and
Yeah.
doesn't go outside some days. It's just nice to have a little party on a weekly basis. So that's me on YouTube, and then I'm also on Instagram. But it is a small potatoes Instagram. I think I'm at like 377 followers. But I mostly just post about like just like day-to-day things, like if I go to Disney Character Warehouse by me, or if I'm just browsing Instagram and see something cool Star Wars. Usually it's Launchfly or Funko related, but I like to share those as well. Sometimes I'll set up a poll for people to vote for their favorite newly released merchandise. So yeah, it's just fun time.
Yeah.
That's just my little party spaces. So yeah, follow and subscribe.
Yeah, go follow, subscribe, and she has channel membership. So make sure you
I
hit
do.
that up as well because there's monthly giveaways that I can never seem to win. I don't
But
I'm
you've
just like
been so
allergic to those.
close.
So close.
Yes.
So close. So let's hop in here. Let me get this shared. All right, so this is our character list. It appears to be going A to Z, or Ahsoka to Yoda in Star Wars terms. So we're going kind of alphabetical order. I noticed that Grogu, like this is before he was named apparently, so he's Baby Yoda here. He comes up pretty early. But it looks like a pretty good list. So we were talking just a second before we hopped on the stream about how we would handle tiebreakers. So pretty much we'll just try to talk each other into one up or one down at this point. Very quickly, if you're not familiar with tier rankings, S is like cream of the crop. D is you really wish this character didn't exist. And it just kind of goes in between there. So B being average, C below average, and A is just a really good character, just not the top tier. So let's hop in with Ahsoka. She starts us off first. For me, this one's pretty easy, but what do you think?
I think Ahsoka is one of those characters that people either love her or they're like, who's that? Or they never got past the phase of thinking she was like an annoying tween. But
Yeah.
I've seen enough of Ahsoka's arc, both in Clone Wars and now in live action, that it would be really hard for me not to give her S tier. But okay, I'm actually going to say A, just because if I'm
Okay.
comparing her to someone like Anakin, I don't think I can put them on the same level. But she is really up there.
No, that's fair. My initial thought was S tier, just from her story is so well fleshed out, right? Like it's in animation, it's live action now, so we get a lot of Ahsoka. But when you're talking like the Anakins, the Lukes, the
I
iconic Star
know.
Wars characters,
I know.
maybe she's like I'm gonna put her right here in A, but just everyone watching know this is like A.5 if we're
Yes.
making a
Yeah,
half ranking.
8.5.
Yeah, like just knocking on the door of S tier, and maybe after the next season of Ahsoka, she'll get there. Who knows?
Yeah.
So, what's this woman's name?
Admiral something or other. I don't know. I'd have to Google
Admiral
it.
Haldo.
Yes,
Admiral
that sounds
Haldo.
right.
The fact that we didn't know her name,
I know.
I've got her at a D tier. I love. She's from Jurassic Park, the actress.
Oh, that's right. Oh my
Um,
gosh. I never
but
made
this
that connection.
character.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Her Funko Pop is very cool, even though I don't have
Oh
it.
yeah,
I have
yeah.
seen it. I just like when pops have like different color hair. So I do like
Okay.
her character design, but I would probably leave her at a D tier, yeah.
Again, Laura Dern, I think maybe is her name. Great actress. I just don't think her character was done justice.
Yeah, maybe I'd have to get into like the novels surrounding the sequel trilogy. Maybe
Yeah,
she's really cool in those, but I don't know. She just kind of seems really like standoffish most of the movie, up
yeah.
until the very end. So yeah, we can keep her at D tier.
That's fair. The Last Jedi lovers, go ahead and get mad in the comments. We will discuss it on Friday when this goes live. Anakin seems pretty easy. That's S tier, right? The chosen one.
Can you remind me which one he's in?
I think he's in episode 2, Attack of the Clones. Right? Is that
Okay,
the right
like
one?
briefly.
Maybe. I think he has that one corny pickup line in it.
Oh, the sand guy, right?
The sand.
Okay, yes. Oh, gee, I don't know. No, I'm kidding. That one's easy.
I'm
S tier,
between S and
obviously.
C for him.
Oh gosh, S tier. We can move on.
Yep, the
That one's
chosen one.
easy.
Star Wars is about him. So yeah, S tier
Exactly.
for the chosen one. The top of S tier even.
Yes, and I
So
love that we're circling back around to him too, like Force Ghost
yeah,
Anakin. That is
I
so
think
so
that's
cool.
cool.
Yeah.
Especially like he's got some. I think he's still got some story to tell. I don't know.
Yeah,
We'll
and
see.
I don't think we've dived into the stories of any Force Ghost before. Like we obviously get the Yoda, Obi-Wan, Anakin cameo at the end of Return of the Jedi, and then
Mhm.
now we've seen Qui-Gon at the end of Obi-Wan, but we haven't seen like a story develop around any Force Ghosts. So I'm excited for that.
Well, have you read Shadow of the Sith or Shadows of the
No.
Sith? It's really good. Disney came out. The book came out 2022 in the summer. So good, and his Force Ghost actually plays like I would say a moderate size role in the movie.
Oh
So
wow.
gives some idea maybe of where they could go with this.
Yeah, I'll add it to my endless list of Star Wars books I need to read.
You can listen to it. It's a little bit easier of a listen. Asajj
Asajj.
Ventress. Now, at the time of reading this, she has not yet premiered on the Bad Batch, but in a few hours, we record this on Tuesday night, so we may actually have her on screen again. But for her, not a character I was like super familiar with outside of the Clone Wars, but then I did read a couple books this year that she's in,
Yeah.
Brotherhood and Dark Disciple, and
Mm-hmm.
I really like the character now. So I mean,
I've
I know
been
you haven't finished Clone Wars yet, but
I know, and actually the last arc that I've seen Asajj in is the one where she creates Savage oppressed,
Mhm.
and I just hate her in that arc. She's just so evil. So, and people
She
insist
is
that I'm
bad.
gonna come back around on Asajj and her arc is cool, but I haven't gotten there yet, so I don't know. I'd probably give her
She's a
like,
B for me. She goes from C to B with the novels.
okay. Well, I haven't read the novels and I haven't seen her redemption arc, so I'd probably rank her much lower. But we'll go with yours because you're much more informed on Asajj.
Slightly more informed. And in the Bad Batch, like I feel like she's gonna be good, so people are gonna really like her there too.
Mm-hmm.
Baby Yoda, Grogu. Now this is kind of one of those maybe Ahsoka type situations. I know a lot of people are getting fed up with Grogu, and then
Yeah.
the other half of the
Yeah.
world buys all the Grogu merch. So
True. There's two types of people. If he had asked me in a world where his face wasn't over everything Disney, I feel like Disney Star Wars really made him the Mickey Mouse
Mhm.
of their content, and that is just it bugs me because it's just too much. So super cute, but I'd probably, and we haven't seen him do anything like super special yet. So we might still, but I think for now I'd probably put him in B tier because he's not on Ahsoka's level.
I was thinking B tier as well, just because he's cute and I'm super invested in the character. Like, I don't know if you have this same issue, but watching The Mandalorian, when he gets captured or something, I'm like way emotionally invested. Like, get this baby back to him. But outside of that, like he doesn't do anything. So I don't know.
Yeah.
B tier is good. I have a Baby
Yeah.
Yoda shelf for Funko Pops.
I've got one, but like full size Funko, and then I have the miniature, which I really like. And then he's in the jumbo Mandalorian Funko where with
Yeah,
Mando carrying him. So I only
yeah.
have like a few appearances of him. But yeah. I think B's
I
fair.
have 12, just a dozen. BB-8. Now, I love BB-8. I think BB-8's one of the greatest things to come out of the sequel trilogy. I don't know how you feel about him though.
I like him in the sequels. I think the whole concept of the new like BB droids was interesting.
Yeah.
As like a new series of droids. So yeah, I do like him. I'd probably put him, yeah, I was thinking B or C.
And droids too. I mean, I know where I'm gonna have R2 and C3PO, but like outside of those two, it's hard. So I think B is fair.
I do too. And I have actually met him in person at Galaxy's Edge, and he was
Met him
very
in
nice.
person.
Yes, he's cool. And I do get attached to droids. Like one of my favorite things about the Andor show was B2 Emo.
Yes.
There's something about the droids that just makes them
Mhm.
so likable, and BB-8 definitely has that effect. So I think B is good.
I like that B2 Emo talks as well. I think that's very neat that he's actually got like a voice that you can understand.
Yeah, it creeped me out at first, but when I got used to it, I liked
Yeah.
him a lot. He's awesome.
Yeah, for sure. And BB-8, if you read any of the books as well, he's got like a really foul mouth, so he's kind of funny too. And all the novels, kind of like R2. So
You wouldn't
humorous
think that
droid.
by looking at him. That's interesting.
Yeah, he's like a sailor or something. He curses a lot. Boba Fett is next. Now this is another interesting one as well because Boba's different now than he was 30 or 40 years ago. So I'm torn on this one.
Yeah, some would argue he's different, but not for the better.
Yeah.
Practically an entirely new character. Yeah, if you were to ask Eric, our friend from Sour Studio Reviews,
Yeah.
that'd be an immediate S tier. I am not as invested in Boba, but I don't know. Where would you put him?
I'm thinking middle of the road at a B at best.
Okay, I think that's fair. I think that's fair.
But
Just
probably like the back
Eric.
end of these.
Yeah, I think so too.
Nice Boba is just different. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, love the actor. Such an integral part of, the prequels. But yeah, I don't know. I'd probably even rank, I don't know. Would I rank Django higher? I might. I don't know. I'd have to think about that.
He's an interesting character for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Is Django on here? You may get a chance in a few minutes. Yeah, he's right here.
Oh, there you go. Okay, we'll have to cross that bridge when we get there then.
Yeah. So C3PO, easy one for me. He's an A tier character. He's hilarious. In episode 9, I just love how much he gets to talk. It's my least favorite movie of all the Star Wars movies, but C3PO still is the show for me. Like, I just love the character.
I do too. I know people think he's really annoying, but I don't think the original trilogy would be what it is without him.
Yeah.
So I would say A tier as well.
For sure. Now, Cad Bane, another interesting character because we have kind of a new Cad Bane now as well. I think he's pretty cool. I love like the Western cowboy vibes.
Yeah, I'm not super into his character.
No.
Yeah. I've seen some of I don't know if he's in Clone Wars toward the final seasons, but I've seen him in the earlier seasons of Clone Wars, and I just think he's kind of a jerk. And
he is.
I didn't really like him was he in Mando or Book of Boba Fett?
Book of Boba Fett. He's in the Bad Batch season 1 as well.
Okay. See, I don't even remember seeing him in Bad Batch season 1.
Yeah. He's
Yeah,
in
I'd
season
probably
3
go.
at some point too.
I don't love him. I'd probably go D tier, but you might feel
Oh, D
differently.
tier. You want to split
Yeah,
the difference on C?
sure.
Okay. We'll put
Yeah.
somebody there. All right. Now Rex. This is looks like he's the only clone trooper on here.
Oh,
I love Rex. I know like there's a community that really loves Rex. I'm not sure I'm quite there yet, but I think he's a good character.
yeah. I'm not quite there yet on any of the clones. I know people are really attached to the clones, and I'm always like, when do I get to the part of Clone Wars where I would like die for the clones? You know, I'm not there, but I do think Rex is awesome. I really enjoyed seeing older Rex too in the Rebels show.
Yes.
So yeah, you said A.
I was thinking high B.
Yeah, I think high. It's hard to put him in the same category as some of the others, but yeah.
Yeah, that's where like it starts getting a little easier to fill these out when you're like, okay, Ahsoka, C3PO, or A. Is Rex on their level? And for some people he is, and that's great, but
Yeah.
not for me maybe yet.
It makes me sad to split them up though, Ahsoka and Rex. So
We can
maybe
make
just
him A. We
maybe
have
just keep
authority.
them. That's okay. Just keep them together here at least. I don't want to
Okay.
like separate them completely.
He's B and a half.
Okay, yes. B point
All right. Andor. I had to get Tony in here,
Cassian.
Star Wars Sith. So
Yeah.
Cassian
Tony would
Andor.
create a new tier at the very bottom for Cassian. I
Andor
think he's
tier.
cool. I really liked him in Rogue One.
Mm-hmm.
I did really like him.
He
I
blurs
would.
the lines too, like for the rebellion, you know? Like they
Mhm.
do some bad things to make things work out.
Yeah. He is like a morally great character. I put him. I honestly like him even more than Boba Fett. So yeah, I don't know if I like him more than Grogu. Maybe as much as Grogu, but I do really like Cassian.
I think he's a good character. I like Andor, so I'm in the Andor is good camp. I'm also in the Andor is a slow burn camp. So that's the nice way of saying boring. So it's slow, I get it, but I think he's a cool character that we're gonna have a nice arc for once it's all said and done.
Yeah, I do too.
Chewbacca's an easy one for me. Iconic character. He's S tier for me. He's like the glue by episode 9 that kind of holds it all together. He's the last one standing. So I don't know if you disagree with that or not.
He'd probably also be another 8.5 character for
Okay.
me, but we can go S tier just because he is like the golden retriever of the franchise. It's
Yeah.
hard not to love him. So
And people that don't know Star Wars know like Wookiee noises too. You know,
yeah.
like if you say Chewbacca, they'll try to make a noise and it usually doesn't come out as well as they think it does. I can't do it.
It's a very like Wookiee sounds is a very hard noise to imitate. I don't know how
Yeah.
people do it.
Yeah, I can't do it. I will spare everybody and not even try.
I know, don't try. Don't try it.
Chirrut, I think is his name. Chirrut Imwe.
From Rogue One.
From Rogue One, I'm one with the Force. The Force is with me, the blind guy. I think he's a fun
Yeah.
character.
Yeah, I do think he's cool. I'd probably put him in C tier.
I would put him ahead of Cad Bane.
Yeah, I would too.
I think he's pretty funny when they like bag his head and he's like, I'm blind. That just like really makes that scene for me.
Yeah. I can't see. Yeah. Like,
I'm
why are you
blind.
doing that? Yeah. It is funny.
Count Dooku. I'm a big fan.
Me
I'm a big fan.
too.
He's
Me
A
too.
for me.
A. Okay. Yeah, I would agree.
Do you have him ahead of 3PO or behind?
Wow. The way this is really exercising my brain is surprising. Ahead of 3PO or behind? I think just behind 3PO probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think, have you read Jedi Lost yet or listened to it? Dooku Jedi Lost?
No.
It's good
No.
too.
That's another title I
yeah.
hear frequently that I also have to read. But I
It's
really
very
liked
good.
seeing his Tales of the Jedi arc
Hmm.
And I think a lot of credit goes to the actor that plays him in Attack of the Clones. He just plays such a compelling Count Dooku. Like you hear him talk to Obi-Wan during Obi-Wan's capture, and
Hmm.
you have so many questions and you just want to know more, So gotta love the character for sure.
And he's like, he tells Obi-Wan everything that's going on, and Obi-Wan doesn't believe him.
I know.
He doesn't do
Crazy.
it in good faith, but he does let him know
Yeah.
everything that's going on.
Yeah.
Darth Maul, this is another good one. Um, I I will say though, he kind of has. If you don't look at the Clone Wars or Rebels, he's kind of got the Grogu effect. But if you take all of the big picture into consideration, his character does do a lot more, I guess.
Yeah, I've come around more on him. He used to be a character that I hated. Just because, for obvious reasons, he killed Qui-Gon. And
Yeah.
how do you forgive somebody for that? But I liked knowing more about the Dark Brothers and like the Dathomir
Hmm.
lore. And I've come to appreciate his part in Phantom Menace and how iconic of a role he plays in that. So he's improved in my mind. So I don't know, he's between a B and a C for me.
I'll go B. I would also go B, like here B for me, but I don't know about you.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he'd be right around where Asajj is.
Okay. Also, I love him in Rogue or not Rogue One in Rebels. His whole
Yeah.
Ezra being his apprentice for a stint or trying to get Ezra. I think that's cool.
Yeah, and especially getting to know the voice behind the mall, like seeing some
Yeah.
of the clips from Sam Witwer, it's warmed me up to a character that I previously really disliked to the side of. So
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I agree. He does look like the devil, so it's probably good that you don't, like the side of him. So Darth Vader, to me, that's another real easy one. Like if you've got Anakin at S, you got to have Vader at S, right?
Let me think about that. If you have Anakin at S, you have to have Vader at. I don't know that I agree with that logic.
Mm.
This is tough. And I haven't read any of the Vader comics, even though I really want
Oh,
to.
they're good as well.
Yeah, I'd probably go A.
Oh,
I don't
you
like
want to rock
Vader as
paper
much as I.
scissors?
Alright, yeah. I don't like him as
We're
much as I like Anakin, so. Alright.
we're gonna go on
Rock.
shoot.
Okay. Rock, paper, scissor, shoot. Hey!
Got
No, you
it.
cheated! You went like an extra turn.
Two out of three.
Okay. You say it.
Rock,
Oh,
paper.
your video's lagging for me.
Okay, I'll just say
Okay.
it out loud. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
No, you waited until after I went again. Okay,
Uh,
let's do S tier. I think that's fair. I mean, he is one of the most powerful Force users. And my heart just goes out to him living in that suit his whole life, like under the thumb of Palpatine. Okay, we can keep S tier.
it's
I've come
tough.
around to it.
What's this guy's name? Rogue One.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about, but I don't remember his name either. I'm gonna have to look it up.
Orson Krennic. I have his Funko Pop. Orson Krennic, weapons director.
Oh, see, I never would have remembered that Orson.
He's a C tier for me.
I love seeing his arc. His death by the Death Star was very
Yeah,
cool.
that is
So
good.
ironic. Um, I like his role in the movie. Yeah, I go C tier. Yeah.
I put him ahead of Cad Bane behind Chirrut.
Okay.
Palpatine. Some might argue that all of Star Wars is about Palpatine after episodes 7, 8, and 9. It's the Palpatine saga.
I hate
So
that notion.
he's got to be up there, I think. I mean, pulling all the strings forever.
Yeah, I mean his story is definitely interesting. Politician from Naboo turns evil wizard
Yeah.
warlord. Yeah, I'd probably go. It's so tough because I dislike him as a person so much for just the way he manipulates Anakin. So I'd probably go D tier.
he ruins the best character, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's the reason there's a story, but he also, yeah, he hurts Anakin, and I can forgive Darth Maul for killing Qui-Gon, but I can't forgive Palpatine for killing Anakin.
I imagine he would be good at chess, right? Like he could play a mean game of chess with people because he's super smart.
Yeah, he's one of those guys, it's like he's playing chess while you're playing checkers. But yeah. I'll defer
Oh,
to you putting him in A tier, but I hate him with the fire of 1,000 suns.
I will say though, he like electrocutes himself 3 times. You know, he every trilogy just kind of wraps up with him shocking himself essentially to death. So you think he would learn? Um, Ezra Bridger. This is animated Ezra, but I'm just gonna say Ezra as we know him up to right now. Good character.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's quite A tier for me yet, but he's close.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm probably between A and B, like a high B or like a low A. I definitely like him more than Palpatine though. So
I'll put
yeah,
him behind
I
Dooku and
think
Palpatine,
yeah, let's keep him in A tier.
and we can always add more in front if we need to.
Yeah.
Finn. Okay, so for these sequel trilogy characters, like we're on Finn right now, I just think it's not fair, like where we're ranking a lot of these guys, just because like the potential was there, and then things shake up, and I don't know. So like Finn after Episode 7, so much potential, and then like just do nothing with him in Episode 8, essentially, and then Episode 9, oh yeah, he's force sensitive. I don't know. I
Yeah,
wish he was higher.
the films didn't explore him enough. I know there's a Poe Dameron comic book series from
Yeah.
like 5 or 6 years ago that maybe explores him more, but I didn't get into the Poe Dameron comics. I'd probably put him and Poe. I don't know if you want to just go ahead and rank them at the same time,
Yeah.
but I'd probably put them both in like a high C tier.
That's kind of what I was thinking as well. They're not D tier at all, but I just don't think the story did them any favors.
Yeah, that I think that's true. And I think that's true for both of them. And it was weird, like there was like an implied love story between Finn and Rey. Then there was also an
Yep.
implied love story between Poe and Rey, and none of those got explored at all, and that was very confusing.
Yeah, and I don't know. That's the issue of having 3 separate people writing a trilogy.
Yeah.
I wish I liked them more though. General Grievous, I'm not a huge fan of, so I'll defer to you on Grievous.
Ugh, he's so iconic. Even people that don't know Star Wars know Grievous.
Shorter than I
And
expected.
yeah, you're shorter than I expected. And a lot of people know it'll make a fine addition to my collection. And then a lot of people know his meme, General Kenobi. So
He
I
is
feel like
memeable.
he's very memeable. So I would probably put him in B tier.
Okay, that's fine with me. And I know in the Clone Wars as well, you get a lot more of him, like leading the clone or the droid army. So that's fair. Is it Armitage Hux? Is that his name, General Hux?
General
Um,
Hux, yeah.
he doesn't do it for me. I don't know. Do you like him?
I like the idea of a turncoat. I think it was cool. I mean, I'm surprised more people didn't do that, and I like the way that they like Darth Vader's like, "Oh, you think I didn't know?" And I
Yeah.
think it's like a cool element to the story. Um, Probably C tier for me. And I
Okay.
like his performance. I think the actor did a good performance as like the
He's a
annoying.
good actor.
Yeah, I like him. And I like him on the ride too, on the Rise of the Resistance ride.
Yeah, that's true too. I think he kind of falls victim to what a lot of the sequel characters probably fall victim to.
Yeah, but he's
Um,
fun, because he's
yeah.
like, I don't know, he's just like the annoying Imperial. I've seen a lot of footage from people that have been on the Halcyon, the Star Wars
Oh yeah,
Galactic,
yeah.
the Star Cruiser, and you can see how the main villain guy, like you can see how he's modeled after
Hux.
Hux, because the actors that play I forget what his name is on the Halcyon, but that whatever actor is playing that role for the cruise, you can see how his mannerisms and the inflection of his voice, like they're very much going for a General Hux impression.
Yeah. I do like so in episode 8, I guess, where they kind of start that power struggle between him and Kylo Ren, like especially once Snoke is gone in that few minutes. I do like that, but I don't know. I think C's fair.
He's
C is
like the
fair for him.
disgruntled employee of the Empire, so.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Oh, I said Vader before when I totally meant Kylo Ren. I was like, wait, what
Well,
trilogy
yeah,
was
no,
he
I know
in
what you're
again?
talking about. Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
Thrawny.
Thrawn. Thrawn.
Thrawny. I would rank Thrawny S tier, but Admiral Thrawn, Grand Admiral Thrawn, I don't know if he's S tier, but Thrawny is for sure S tier.
Vacation Thrawny.
What if I had just sent him an invite to this just to hop in just for this one?
Just to rank himself. Okay, so if you ask my brother, he definitely put Thrawn in S tier because Thrawn is such a big part of Star Wars for him as a fan of the what's his
Zahn.
trilogy called?
Yeah,
No,
the Heir to the
there's
Empire trilogy.
Heir to the Empire.
Mhm.
Yeah, my brother's really into that. I haven't read Heir to the Empire. Really, I've only seen him in Rebels and the Ahsoka show. So I probably wouldn't rank him that high. He's probably on the same level as Grievous for me, so probably B tier.
Okay, I can go B tier with him. I think I like him better than Grogu. Do you like him better than Grogu or no?
I love how Grogu's like your measuring
the metric
stick for everything. Like, okay, do I like him better than Grogu? I don't know if I like him better than Grogu, but I think it's pretty fair to put him. No, I think that's fair. I think that's a good.
What if
spot
we
for
get
him.
a Grogu and Thrawn face off at some point? That'll be the big screen thing when they're in the movies. Grand Moff Tarkin. I think he has a little bit of that irony about him, with kind of like what we said about that guy from Rogue One. I already forgot his name, but I like him better than the Rogue One Imperial guy.
Yeah, he's kind of like the General Hux of the OT.
Yeah, he's got that Vader rivalry.
Yeah, he plays like advocate with Vader, kind of bounces off of him. So I would say C.
That's fair.
Yeah.
You have him ahead of the sequel guys or behind them?
I think behind.
Okay. I mean, he doesn't hang around very long till he gets blown up, so I think that's fair.
Yeah, although he's in one of the most quotable scenes where I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's in the Bad Batch a little bit too, right? I think he shows up in a few of those.
Yeah, I think he might even be in Rebels a little bit too.
Yeah, is it in Rebels where he has the ridiculous legs, like when they his pants? Have you seen it? Like he's got little chicken legs, and then like they do like this once he gets up to his waistline. You have to look it up.
Oh, I
It's
don't
funny.
remember that.
It's like such corny animation for him. It may be in Bad Batch instead of Rebels, but it's funny. Han Solo. That's my Maz Kanata voice. What do you think about Han Solo?
Maybe 8.5.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like Ahsoka better than Han.
I like them both, but I wouldn't. There's some people that you like the same amount, but you wouldn't compare them to each other. Yeah, like you can't compare them. Like Ahsoka and Han Solo are just so totally different. But the original trilogy wouldn't be what it is without him. I don't like what the sequel trilogy did to his character. So
I actually think, as far as the sequels go, I think he's one of the few bright spots as well.
But I don't like that he goes back to being a scoundrel after being reformed. I don't like that. It makes me sad for Leia. It just makes me so sad because that's like the love story of the original trilogy, and they just screwed it up. Yeah, I think he's good where he's at.
I'm fine with that. I do think, though, not that I'm going to change your opinion, but when we see Han in the OT, like he always is running away, and then comes back. So it happens in 4. I mean, in 5, they technically don't let him run away, right? Like they freeze him before he can do it. And then 6, like he joins the crew to go to Endor. He's like, I'm in, so he's always hopping back in. And I think in 7, when he runs away, but ultimately, like, he goes out to see Kylo Ren on the bridge on Starkiller Base. Like, I think that's so in tune with his character. I like that a lot. But
Yeah, I mean, it was really interesting to get to see him be a father.
yeah,
I have mixed feelings. I didn't like. I wish they could have kept everything the same, but kept Leia and Han together. I didn't like that they were like separated or estranged. That made me
yeah.
sad.
No, that's fair. That is fair. Hera Syndulla. I like Hera.
I love Hera. S tier.
S tier for Hera.
Yeah, she's such a strong character. She's so good. I do like her better in Rebels than I did in the Ahsoka show, but I enjoyed her character in the Ahsoka show as well.
That's fair. I'll go S tier. I will not argue with you on it. Although I have a hard time having Ahsoka in A and Hera in S, but we'll give you S tier for that one.
Okay, and if you think about it, there's like few like alien characters that we are able to get really attached to. Like there's
That's true.
Ahsoka, and then there's Chewbacca, but like everyone else is like human, so it made for a very interesting character.
I want to rank Kanan while we're ranking her. Kanan for me is like a non-negotiable S tier.
S
I
tier,
love
yeah.
him. I think
Immediately,
he's
yes.
like the epitome of the Jedi, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Like what a
it's
Jedi
crazy.
should be.
I didn't go into watching Rebels thinking I would walk away with like two of some of my favorite characters, but I definitely did. Kanan's awesome. Hera's amazing. She's like the mother of like the whole
Yeah,
crew. And then Kanan is just his whole arc on
so
Lasal
good.
is awesome. So yes, S tier for
Yeah.
both of them.
Hondo Onaka. I mean, he's fun.
He's a
He's funny in
character we
Rebels.
love to hate, you know?
Yeah.
Like we'd be sad when he's gone, and he's still around because he's at
Yeah, the two,
Galaxy's
yeah.
Edge. Yeah. So I'd probably put him, yeah, maybe, yeah. I'd even say I probably would rank him above Finn and Poe,
We
just
can
because
do
he's like
that.
the recurring character, you know, like he doesn't have a long
Yeah.
story arc, but he's
He
just,
just keeps showing up.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. My biggest issue with him is he's the last thing I see before I have to go throw up after riding Smuggler's Run, because that ride is just a puke box. And it's like, oh, there's Hondo. And then it's like, oh, I have motion sickness. So,
Oh, yeah, I feel that.
Pizza the Hut, Jabba the Hutt. Pizza the Hut is from Spaceballs. Jabba the Hutt.
Isn't that Ezra?
Yeah, it looks a lot like Ezra, doesn't it?
Good question. I never thought I'd be ranking Jabba the Hutt on a tier list.
I don't like him.
I don't like him either. He's kind of a jerk. D tier.
D tier, but ahead of Haldo for me.
Sure. Yeah. He's a pretty awful person. But yeah.
All right. Jango Fett. Now's the time.
Django. Yeah. It's so interesting how we have villains all the way across this, but it's like not all villains are made the same. Like you have Jabba who's just entirely dislikable. And then you have Maul who you kind of grow to love. And
Jango's just a
Django's
simple man.
making his way through the galaxy. He's such an iconic part of the prequels. I'd probably put him in B tier.
I'm good with B tier. I would, if we're doing the Grogu metric, I would have him behind Grogu in B tier.
And ahead of Boba Fett.
I was going to put him ahead of BB-8.
Yeah,
You
I
want him
think that's
behind
fair.
BB-8?
I just think it's notable that he's ahead of Boba.
Well, it's got to be, they have the Mandalorian little code or whatever that he pops up on his wrist, and Boba's ahead of, or Django's ahead of Boba, so you got to go with that.
Yeah. Okay.
Jyn Erso, I think's a really good character. I like Jyn Erso.
I really like Jyn. I really liked Rogue One.
It was so good.
Where do we have Cassian? We have Cassian in B.
She's ahead of Cassian for me.
Yeah, she's ahead of Cassian for me too. I'd probably put her like high B.
I would put her ahead of probably Thrawn. I would put her ahead of Thrawn.
I'd probably put her ahead of Asajj.
Okay.
But that's just
I,
me.
I mean, I think so. Rogue One feels a lot like Star Wars, right? Like you go to the theaters and you're like, "This is Star Wars,"
Hmm.
and everything she says just fits right into the rebellion. Like rebellions are built on hope. She kind of pushes them to do the next thing, and so I just think she's a very Star Warsy character. Like some characters miss the point, and she doesn't.
Yeah, I love her. And she's like a well-rounded character in a way that, Rey wasn't. Because Rey is
Yeah, yeah,
just like the perfect like force user, like she's already so strong, and we come to find out why. But I like that Jin's much more
right.
like she's much more balanced as a character. Like she carries all this like resentment and anger with her, and it makes her so like imperfect as a character, which makes her more relatable.
I agree. I like her a lot. K2SO. I think K2 is hilarious.
He is funny. I forget what it's the line that he says when he's in that very pose on the ship. What does he say?
Do you want to know the probability that she will use that gun against you? It's high.
Mm,
Is what he says.
It's very high.
Very high. Yeah.
Yeah. He like there's like a short pause in between. It's high. It's very
Very
high.
high. I like him
It's
a
so
lot.
funny. I do too. Not as much as Ezra. So I wouldn't put him in A tier, but do I
Do you
like him
like him
more
better
than
than Cassian?
Oh, no, I don't. Just behind Cassian. There you go.
I like him better than Boba Fett for sure. And I know, like, whatever, but he's a fun character.
Blasphemy.
The Boba fans are gonna be after me.
I know. Let's hope Eric doesn't watch this.
Well, Kevin may quit the podcast. Kevin wears a Boba Fett shirt half the time that he's on here, so he may be mad too. I don't know. Kylo Ren, Ben Solo. I'm gonna lump them together as one character, because we don't have a picture of Ben Solo on here. So he's my favorite part of the sequels.
Yeah, me too. Kylo Ren's voice is so cool. Yeah, where would I
Yeah,
rank him though? This is tough.
he's
Um,
A for me.
A. Okay. Yeah, I think so.
Now I have him below Han, above 3PO. Do you want him lower?
No, I think that's good.
I think he does a really good job of kind of keeping me engaged in the sequels because his story is so interesting.
Yeah, and Adam Driver did such a good job as Kylo Ren.
He's the best Star Wars actor that the franchise has ever had. Like, I think that's my opinion, but
Yeah, no, he was great, and I love his story arc as well. It's too bad we didn't get to see more of him. But yeah, no,
he did
I think
kiss
that's a
Ray
good
though
spot.
at the end.
Yes. Another Ray love triangle that never like really resolved. Like it was just so confusing, all the love triangles in the sequel trilogy. But
I
yeah.
laughed out loud during that scene in the movie theaters. I wasn't the only person who did it either. Lando Calrissian. Also looks a little bit
Lando
like Ezra,
Calrissian.
doesn't it?
Probably B tier.
I think he's B. Where do you have him on the Grogu Matrix?
On the Grogu Matrix. Yeah, I think that's good. Behind Maul, ahead of Thrawn.
Luke Skywalker. If we keep up the correct rankings, how we're putting the son right behind the father every time, he would technically go here. Are you a Luke fan?
I am a Luke fan, and more so I think as time goes on. Yeah, I think so. I think S tier for sure.
I don't like Mace Windu. He makes Anakin fall to the dark side. I don't
Yeah,
like
he
him at
is like
all.
that mean corporate boss. Yeah,
Yes.
but he's also like, thanks to him, we have purple lightsabers, you know?
I mean, what a contribution. He's a good
Yeah,
character, I will say. I just am not a fan, but he is good.
maybe B tier, and then at the
I
very
was
end.
thinking B. Oh, I'd probably have him ahead of Boba Fett. Would you have him
Really?
ahead
Okay.
or where do you want him, better or worse than Grievous?
Hmm, probably about the same.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Mando. I like Mando. I think for a guy behind a mask that is a bounty hunter, he's quite the character.
Yeah, I like Mando too. I don't think I'm as like emotionally attached to him due to like I don't know, just not seeing his face as much. I feel like we don't relate to the person as much as we do just like the idea of the character. So I'd probably where would you rank him?
He's probably he's below Ezra, above Rex for me. So I don't know
That's
where we
exactly
want
what I
that
was
to
thinking.
land.
Yeah, it's either the very first one on B, which is kind of where I'm leaning, or the very
Okay.
last one on A.
Had season 3 of The Mandalorian not happened, would you have had him in A?
No, because I actually liked season 3 of The
Oh, okay.
Mandalorian. Yeah.
To me, season 2, Din Djarin is like peak Din Djarin, like where he's taking his helmet off for Grogu and everything. I love that. But yeah, I think between B and A is pretty good.
Yeah, I think so.
Maz Kanata is another kind of victim to the story. Super interesting in 7, non existent in 8, and then kind of interesting in 9.
I just love when they call her on it's like a screen or a hollow communicator and she's
Yeah.
like shooting guns
Shooting her way out.
and talking at the same time. She's so cool. Probably somewhere in the C tier.
That's what I was thinking. Maybe behind Poe and Finn.
Yeah, I think so. But ahead of
She's
Tarkin.
cool. And the actress is
She
good
is.
too. Lupita, is that right? Lupita Nyong'o? Maybe that's
I'm
how you
not
say her
sure.
name. Her brother was in a fraternity with one of my best friends at Stetson, like down in Volusia County, Florida. So local connection to Maz Kanata.
Mm.
General Kenobi. Hello there.
General Kenobi. S tier.
He's is he above Luke in S tier, right?
He is to me.
He is to me as well.
Yeah. Not ahead of Anakin, but yeah, I'd say that's a perfect spot for him.
Arguably the second most compelling story in Star Wars behind Anakin's too as well. Like just such loss
Yeah.
every time he turns around, I feel like.
Yeah.
I know what you're doing with Padme, so you just want me to go ahead and put her up here?
Yes. She's not ahead of Anakin. I'm trying to think where she is in relation to Obi-Wan. This is tough.
We got
Honestly,
a lot of Obi-Wan.
this is tough. I I just wish we knew more about Padme. And I still have to read her book trilogy, but just her growing up in like politician school and growing up on
Mhm.
Naboo, it's just I wish we knew more about her. I think with what we see in the films, I think third is good, yeah, just behind Obi-Wan. But I think if we knew more about her character and her upbringing, and if we explored that more in the films, I think, it would be very hard to call.
Yeah. She just doesn't have as much out there on screen.
Yeah.
I would probably have Luke ahead of her, but it doesn't hurt my feelings having her one way or the other. Princess Leia, I think she's on the same level with Luke for me.
Yeah, I'd put her right next to Luke, yeah.
Like this isn't a behind Luke or an in front of Luke situation. Like they are one and the same for me.
Okay, I probably would rank her behind Luke, but very close for sure. I just,
I think
it's hard because the New Hope is like through like Luke's point of view.
yeah,
So it's tough to rank her above Luke.
I'm okay with that. I'm S tier for Qui-Gon Jinn as well.
S tier for Qui-Gon Jinn. Hmm.
But you've got to dig into a lot more than just the movies.
Yeah. And it's tough because if you're a prequel kid like us, he's just the sight of him is so nostalgic.
Well, okay, so I said S tier, but I like Ahsoka better.
Hmm.
I would have
Okay.
had Ahsoka, so I don't, maybe he's there with Ahsoka. I don't know.
Maybe right between Ahsoka and Han.
This tier, like Ahsoka, Qui-Gon, Han, might as well be like S.5, like just right in
Yeah.
between.
Yeah. I think so too.
Do you have R2 with C-3PO? Do you have him
No,
above?
I probably have R2 just behind Qui-Gon.
Okay.
Maybe even ahead of Qui-Gon.
R2 does know everything. Like he's the one component of Star Wars that's like there for all of it outside of, Anakin and Obi-Wan.
Yeah, well, it's, if you don't get into the expanded universe of like Jedi Survivor with
Yeah.
BD1, and then if you don't, Andor with B2 Emo, like there's very few droids you become attached to.
Mhm.
And for so long before I got into expanded universe, R2 was like my favorite droid. No questions asked. So I do love R2 a lot. And he's so classic to the whole, like, he's just so nostalgic. Like, you see him and, like, you
Yeah.
recognize him. So, yeah, I think I'd place him above Qui-Gon.
I mean, he's the iconic level where I don't know if you've been to DC or not, but like at one of those Smithsonian museums, they've got like an R2D2 post office box, like that you'll see on the side of the road. And they put like R2D2 post office boxes all across the country at some point. I don't remember that happening, but apparently it
Oh,
did. So that's
that's
cool.
cool. Yeah. We should bring that back.
Yeah, I would probably go to the post office more if we had R2D2 there. Um, Ray, another victim of the story, I would say. Daisy Ridley is an incredible actress, in my
Yeah.
opinion. She was not given a good character as far as one that makes sense for 3 solid movies, though.
I mean, I like her character concept, the scrapper that
Mm-hmm.
gets thrown into an adventure, similar to like Luke was the farmer that gets thrown into an adventure. It's something about her character qualities, like it's just too easy for her, just like learning the Force and everything. I think that bothered people. Not that it doesn't make sense later on with like the midi-chlorians and like her being,
Being a Palpatine, yeah.
related to Palpatine. It makes sense later, but it doesn't make her character story any more interesting to watch, Just
Yep.
knowing that doesn't make that better. So, that's tough.
I've
Because
got her ahead of Poe and Finn.
I would too. Definitely ahead of
I've got her ahead of Hondo as
Hondo.
well.
Yeah.
I probably like her better than, I mean, my prequel friends will get mad, but I probably like her better than Mace Windu.
Do you like her better than Cassian?
No.
No. Okay.
Do you?
Yeah, so maybe just behind Cassian and ahead of K2.
Okay. That is good. I like the idea of Rey Nobody, like where she could overcome just being no one, and then, they fall back on that. So,
Yeah.
Rose Tico, had to think of her name, major victim of the story. So when I rank her in D tier, it's nothing against the actress. It's everything
Yeah.
against the writing for her, in my opinion. I don't know what you think.
Yeah, I mean, I do like the way they got people to appeal to her character was the loss of her sister very early on.
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
immediately you get a lot of backstory. I definitely rank her above Jabba the Hutt. So maybe I don't know. Maybe even at the end of C tier, because I don't dislike her the way I dislike
I
Jabba.
dislike her,
Do
but
you?
so the Last Jedi book, typically books make everything better, makes her worse. So I can go see. I think
Okay.
some fans were mean to her, so we'll give her a C.
Yeah, and it's not like we're huge fans of General Hux either,
Right.
So yeah.
That's true. Sabine Wren,
Sabine
Jedi
Wren.
Padawan, Sabine Wren. She's grown on me.
Yeah, if you had asked me when I had only seen Rebels, I would have ranked her higher than I am now.
Ahsoka hurt her for you.
She did, yeah, the show did. I don't know, I just liked something about how she was a grounding presence in Rebels. She was like so sure of herself, so sure of what she wanted. And then in the Ahsoka show, I don't know, she just like regressed, age-wise. She just felt so much younger, like very like Zuko in his early years, just very like angry and lost, which I get it. I get why she is, but it doesn't make her a more likable character to me. I just liked her screen presence in Rebels more.
I
So
agree.
probably just behind Ezra, maybe an A tier.
Okay. I would have had her in B tier.
Well, because I still love her, though. I still
Yeah.
love her because of Rebels,
Yeah.
I maybe would have ranked her higher than Ezra before, Ahsoka.
I think the biggest issue in Ahsoka is like spread the blame around a little bit. Like, don't make her be the fall character for every bad thing that happens. I think that was
Yeah.
not great writing on as
Yeah.
much as I like Dave and all he's doing. But I'm sure it'll make sense in the long run. That seems to be the type of guy he is.
Yeah.
Savage Opress for me. He's a cool character in the Clone Wars for sure. He's just not around very long in the
Yeah.
grand scheme of things.
I mean, he adds layers to Maul's character, which is
Mm-hmm.
cool.
Got a really good lightsaber duel
I haven't. I
against
don't think I've seen
Palpatine.
him. I don't think I've seen him die yet.
Oh, well, that's a good
Spoilers.
lightsaber duel.
Yeah. Okay. What season is that?
Is it 4?
And then the
3 or
4. Okay.
it could be 5.
I gotta pick
I don't
back
know.
up where I left off. I haven't watched in a while. Where would I put him? Definitely somewhere in C tier. Would you go as far as putting him in D tier?
Oh, no. I would have him like upper C tier.
Upper C tier. Okay.
Like, I
Yeah.
like him better than probably the sequel guys, and like Hondo's kind of funny to be there, but I mean he's a better character than Hondo probably.
Yeah, I mean, I like him so far. I think his story is really sad and what Asajj does to him, which is a large part of why I don't like Asajj. But yeah, I think C tier is fair.
Snoke. What could have been for
Emperor
Snoke.
Snoot. I call him that. Just because for a while there, a few years ago, I really thought that was his name unironically. And then I was like, oh no, it's Snoke. But then I just never got away from calling him Snoot. Where would I put Snoot?
Supreme Leader.
Supreme Leader Snoot.
Cool. He could have been so cool.
Yeah. Definitely somewhere in C tier.
That's what I was thinking. To me, I like him better than Finn and Poe, but probably because he doesn't live as long. He doesn't, you're the hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. So we have this full story on Finn and Poe that doesn't necessarily do them justice, and Snoke kind of gets out of school early on that one.
Yeah. Yeah, probably just between maybe, I don't know, Maz and Tarkin, maybe?
Okay.
Or just behind Poe.
I'd put her ahead of Maz, or put him ahead of Maz probably.
Okay.
Yoda.
Our very
Grandmaster
last
Yoda.
character.
The last character. And I said it would be an hour, and we're at 58 minutes, so we're good.
Okay, cutting it close.
Yoda.
Yoda.
Very good character.
Yeah. So mysterious.
He's A for me.
Well. A. Yeah, I think he is too. I'm trying to figure out where. In relation to Qui-Gon. Hi, Hero. We're almost done. My dogs look at me like, you already worked good. All day. I think maybe just behind Ahsoka.
Okay.
Yeah. Are you a bigger fan of original trilogy Yoda or prequel Yoda?
I really like episode 3 Yoda a lot.
Episode 3 Yoda.
Like where he's just kind of like, I failed and he has to go away. I love that.
Yeah, hang on. My dog's asking.
No, you're fine.
Say hi. There she
Hello,
is.
dog.
Hello. She's like, fine. If we're not going outside, then I'll just sit with you.
Mine left me a few minutes ago. They're like, this is boring, and they went to the living room.
This tier list is uninteresting to me. I like Puppet Yoda in the original trilogy. I think he's so endearing. I used to not like him. I remember we hadn't watched the original trilogy in a while as kids, and then my dad put it on TV, and I was like, we just kind of made fun of him for it. We're like, this is the movies that you like? Look at this. Look at how ridiculous this puppet is. And it was just so funny. He was like, oh, I don't remember Yoda being this cheesy. But as I've grown older, I've grown to really appreciate Puppet Yoda as just a very nostalgic part of history. But yeah, I think I like how he emotes more in the prequels, and I like all of the lines that they gave him to speak in the prequels. So yeah, I think just behind Ahsoka is good.
The Last Jedi Yoda. I love that.
The Return of Puppet Yoda.
Yeah, I think that's a good scene in that movie.
I do too. And I was recently at Savi's workshop building my first custom lightsaber,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they have his voice project out, and it
Mm-hmm.
really brought me back to that scene in Rebels where Ezra meets Yoda, the Force
Mm-hmm.
essence of Yoda at the temple, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just something about his voice just immediately recalls your childhood to mind.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think he's a very strong character for me. So I think high on the A list, but not quite S tier. Yeah,
That's good.
looking at our list now, I think we did pretty good. I'd
I
probably
think
move
that's good.
Chewbacca to A if I'm being
Yeah,
honest.
we can do that. I would probably put him behind. I would put him around here,
Yeah, I
probably.
think that's fair. Or if you put him behind Qui-Gon, he can be next to his best pal Han, and I think that's the kinder thing to do.
I think I like Han better than Chewbacca too. So,
Oh yeah? Yeah,
but like when
I'm
you throw 50 out there, it starts jumbling up. But I do think it's a
it
good
does.
list. I don't
I do
see
too.
any just glaring discrepancies. Some people will be like Rose Tico is, F tier. Like we don't want her on the list. There will be those the people out there,
No,
and then
I
some
wouldn't go
people will
that
be like
far.
Jabba's got to be higher. But I
That's
think
true.
it's good where it's at. I think Haldo finds a nice spot in D tier.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I'm happy with the average where the averages landed. I probably would have ranked Asajj and Massage definitely lower because I haven't seen her full arc. Maul, I'd probably no, I maybe would keep Maul where he's at. Mm, no,
I
I think
think
we did good.
one I think it's good. And one important thing to see is like there's only two D tier characters out of these 50. Like Star Wars is good stuff. So
Yeah.
that's a good thing to note. So comments, people who have watched this far along, kind of tear this up in the comments. Let us know where it's wrong, where it's right, and maybe how you would change it. I don't expect you to list 50 characters in the comments or anything crazy like that, but definitely let us know what you think. Otherwise, I know it's been an hour, so we won't hang around too long, but Kevin will be back next week. We're going to talk about the Acolyte. So we're going to talk about the trailer, what we think is going to happen. So definitely be sure to join in next week as well. Thank you so much, Andrea, for joining and taking the time for this.
Yeah, it
Be
was
sure to go
fun.
follow her at the Padawan Chronicles on Instagram and YouTube.
Thanks.
See you guys.